Welcome back, my people. Still on our topic about food poisoning. I'm still reminding those who have not subscribed, don't be left behind. We are approaching 10,000 subscribers, and I'm sure before the end of this year, we will have hit the 10,000 mark. I appreciate your support and the far you have taken me, because you have really supported me as a family. I hope the support will continue increasing day and day. So let's encourage our brothers and sisters, our lovers and haters, the bigger percentage that has not subscribed, so that they may subscribe, they may comment, like our videos, so that we may build this channel, so that we may benefit from it. Let's get back to our discussion about food poisoning, whereby we are talking about the 10 major signs and symptoms of food poisoning. The first one we were discussing was abdominal pains and cramps. We'll finish up with it, then we'll come to the next, which will be diarrhea. So, there is a very important point to note. People with food poisoning may experience cramps, abdominal muscles, whereby abdominal muscles contract to speed up natural movement of your bowels to get rid of harmful organisms as quickly as possible. What does this mean? When you are having food poisoning, you will experience cramps and abdominal muscles, and abdominal muscle contraction. That's why when you are having abdominal pains, when you visit the toilet and diarrhea, you will have eliminated some of these toxins and you get some relief. So this is what this point supports, that people may experience cramps and abdominal muscle contraction to speed up natural movements of bowels to get rid of harmful organisms as quickly as possible. We have another point to note. Not all cases of food poisoning will result in abdominal pains or cramps, but it might also be a sign of another condition. This is very important. Not all cases of food poisoning will result in abdominal pains and cramps, but it might also be a sign of another condition. Let's get back to our second point of discussion about the major signs and symptoms of food poisoning, and the second one is diarrhea. Diarrhea is characterized by watery loose stools and is defined as 3 or more of this type of bowel movement in 24 hours. So you can only refer somebody to be having diarrhea when he or she is having 3 or more bowel movements which are loose in 24 hours period, and it's a typical symptom of food poisoning. So diarrhea is a typical symptom of food poisoning. So you can't see somebody having one episode of diarrhea or loose stool and define that person to be having food poisoning. No. He or she must have had 3 or more episodes of bowel movement whereby the stool is loose for 24 hours. It occurs as inflammation makes your bowel less effective. So diarrhea occurs as inflammation of your intestines makes your bowels less effective at reabsorbing the water. So the water is not reabsorbed to the back to the body. It remains in the stool or the fecal matter, making it loose because there is zero absorption. So It occurs as inflammation makes your bowel less effective at reabsorbing the water and other fluids it secretes during digestion. Diarrhea can also be accompanied by other symptoms such as sense of urgency when you need to go to bathroom, bloating and abdominal cramps. So other signs that can accompany diarrhea or other symptoms that can accompany diarrhea are sense of urgency when you need to go to bathroom, bloating and abdominal cramps. A point to note: you lose a lot of fluids during diarrhea, leading to dehydration. You lose a lot of fluids due to diarrhea, leading to dehydration. So it's important to keep hydrated always. That means you should keep on drinking a lot of fluids, a lot of water when you are having episodes of diarrhea. In addition to water, sipping liquid foods like broths and soups can help combat dehydration. So anything watery, any fluid can help to combat dehydration, which is always life-threatening and is one of the major complications in food poisoning. So, in addition to water, sipping liquid foods like broths and soups can help combat dehydration and give you a bit of energy if you can't tolerate solid foods. I hope that point is clear. We have another point to note. To check if you are dehydrated. To check if you are dehydrated, monitor the color of your urine, which should be light yellow or clear. So the color of your urine when it's normal should be light yellow or what we call amber, or it should be clear. So to check if you are dehydrated, monitor the color of your urine, which should be light yellow or clear. If it's darker than this, it might indicate dehydration, or it might say that or indicate that you have lost a lot of fluids because of the diarrhea. In summary, diarrhea consists of 3 or more loose watery stools in 24 hours. The biggest health risk of diarrhea is dehydration, and it's important to make sure you are drinking enough fluids. So the biggest health risk with diarrhea is dehydration. So when you are having these episodes of diarrhea, you should make sure you take a lot of fluids to combat dehydration, which can be life-threatening. Let's get to the next point, or the next symptom of food poisoning, the next major symptom, or the third one, which is headache. So many people confuse headache. We have no sickness called headache. Headache is always a sign and symptoms of another disease or illness in your body. So headache is very common in people who experience diarrhea, or people who experience food poisoning. So headache is very common to people, and people experience them for a wide range of reasons. So people can have headache not only because of food poisoning, but we have other reasons which can make you have headache. For example, if you are having stress, drinking a lot of alcohol or too much alcohol, dehydration and fatigue. A point to note: food poisoning may make you become fatigued and dehydrated, leading to headache. So if you are dehydrated due to diarrhea and vomiting because of food poisoning, this can lead to dehydration, and the dehydration will lead to headache. A point to note: dehydration can affect your brain, making it lose fluids and temporarily shrinking. So if you are dehydrated, you are at risk of affecting your brain. If your brain loses the fluids, it will temporarily shrink. But if you get hydrated, it will go back to normal. So you are prone to headache if you experience vomiting and diarrhea. You are prone or at risk of having headache if you experience vomiting and diarrhea, both of which increase the risk of dehydration. So vomiting and diarrhea increase the risk of dehydration, and this can predispose you or put you at risk of having dehydration. And when you have dehydration, next thing will be obviously headache. This marks the end of our discussion today. Tomorrow we'll continue discussing these 10 major signs and symptoms of the food poisoning. And tomorrow we will start by discussing about vomiting. Thank you for your time. Thank you for lending me your ear. Let's continue subscribing, sharing, and commenting on our videos. And for those who have presented their topic for us to discuss, we can't just touch one topic then we jump to another before we do away with it. We have to finish up with each topic so that every one of you can get good understanding. Then after we finish up with one topic, now we can go to another topic. So for those who have presented their topics, let's be patient with each other, and I promise in due time your topic will be discussed. So let's have a wonderful day, and may God bless you.